Now, if you are a parent, please imagine this with me. You have given birth to a beautiful baby boy. You've taken good care of this boy from childbirth through to the age of 22 years old, when he has now completed the university and obtained a degree in computer science. He gets to land his dream job at Netflix, and everybody is excited, right? Yeah, but just for 2 weeks. Because exactly 2 weeks after he resumed his new dream job at Netflix as a software engineer, this gentleman goes to work and never comes home. That is the true crime story of Yohanes S. Kidane or Kidane, whichever way you choose to pronounce it, of the United States of America, who is currently declared missing and is being searched for by friends, families, and the security agencies. Johannes's case is one that is very baffling, and it's an ongoing case which is unraveling. As it stands now, he has been tagged as a missing person officially. But let's get to the bottom of it to understand the facts of the case as has been reported so far. So, per the facts out there, Johannes went missing after getting into an Uber before his wallet and phone would be mysteriously later found near the Golden Gate Bridge. I have some theories on this case, but I'll bring them out when I'm done speaking to the facts of this case as has been put out there. Johannes was last seen just this Monday around 7:15 p.m. and he was getting into this Uber, which is a black Toyota Camry from San Jose in the United States of America. He himself had recently graduated from the Cornell University, where he majored in computer science, and feedback from his colleagues and his class indicated that Johannes was one very bright guy. He had a bright future, and you could see that he was on to big things. Since his disappearance, his family and friends have since moved to the Bay Area to help find him by spreading missing poster notes of him. Now, this case, as we get to the facts, you realize there are some similarities with a case that recently blew up in the United States of America as well, with regards to a girl being alleged or being suspected to have been kidnapped or gone missing. And when I get to that, we'll begin to draw the similarities. But that is not to say that that is what is playing out here. Just that I think the world is getting so crazy. When things like this happen, it's important that at least we try to draw from the analysis of the possible scenarios we might be dealing with. That's not to say it's a definite fact, but just to allow room for how things should be approached from different angles in remedying the problem. So, Johannes's sibling is the first person who picked up on the anomaly of him being stagnant as far as the tracking on his iPhone was. So it was specifically his younger sister by name Sarah. And according to her, she was actually tracking her brother's phone. And she noticed that the phone location showed he was at the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco in the United States of America on Monday night. But then, after observing for some time, she realized that his location had not changed. It was stagnant on the bridge. Now, when she noticed that his location was not changing, she asked her older brother if, in case, he had heard from Johannes. But then it turns out that he had not heard from Johannes. And I think this is where the power of relationships with blood comes in, because sometimes, you know, call me spooky, call me superstitious, but if you've experienced this before, you can let me know in the comment section. Sometimes you feel something and it's happening. or you feel something is off and it turns out, yeah, something was really off. I think that's our instincts also connecting, and the telepathy that goes with the bond and the power of blood links and also close ties. And I think it's not odd for his sister to feel something was up, because once you are bonded to somebody, these things begin to get into play when something is off. And rightly so, she was onto something. So from this point, family members started calling out to Johannes's friends, but it will turn out that none of them had also heard from him. So you can imagine the alarm would begin to get bigger, the concern would begin to get deeper, and the fear would begin to get intense, because it's one thing calling a relative and the relative not picking up, but it's another thing you are being able to track the person's phone and you see the person is not going anywhere, it's stagnant, that the person is on a bridge, and then you reach out to the person's friends, nobody has heard from this person, and it begins to feel off, especially when it's not a regular practice you've experienced with this person, more so your own brother. So I share in the concern of the family upon this realization, especially when his friends have also indicated that they hadn't heard from him. So fast forward, the next morning, that was Tuesday morning, information came that a passerby had found Johannes's phone and wallet near the Golden Bridge, and this person had turned the wallet and the phone to the police. And I think that from this point, the family and the kids gets on a roller coaster, because the outcome can be anything. I wish the outcome isn't one of the possible deadly ones or one of the possible unwanted ones. I wish the outcome is a sort of misunderstanding which ends with Johannes Kidane being okay, being alive, being well, and some way, somehow, just being away from his phone, such that everything is okay. But this being a true crime channel and looking at cases we've seen, I think that it is important we look at this in the broader spectrum of what could be possible. And the case has facts out there which also suggest that this could be something else that is now manifesting. And the police are on it, and I'm trusting they are going to do an excellent job. But the story didn't end there. So they checked his wallet, they saw that there were $30 in his wallet and it was untouched. His ID cards were in there and his phone was also untouched. So his things were just as they were. Now, on that same day that Johannes did not show up at his new job at Netflix, police were also unable to find him at home. So it's either you're at work or you're at home, or at worst, you are in between commuting. But in this case, the tracking shows that you were commuting and you stopped on a bridge. We can't reach you on your phone. You are not at your workplace and you are not at home. So the question was begging loudly, where then was Yohanes Kidane? Because the concern was, if he's not within these three domains, where then is he, especially when his friends have also not heard from him? And it will get more worrying, because just the following day, which was now a Wednesday of the same week, the police found his backpack, which had two of his laptops and some personal documents. And these stuff of his were also untouched, just like the stuff in his wallet and phone, which were found on the bridge. The police did not indicate where they found his backpack at, but it's just been reported that it was also untouched. So the question is, what was going on? And if you know anything about software engineers, they don't joke with their laptops. They don't go anywhere without their laptops, literally, maybe unless they are going to take a shower. But most often than not, they would have their laptop on them, because it's the tool with which they earn mostly. So for a software engineer, and a new one at that, with a company like Netflix, to be nowhere to be found and his laptops to be found somewhere without him, the whole thing was getting more concerning. So it wasn't surprising when his family were now in tears at a point during an interview and trying to solicit for all the support that they can garner in the search for Yohanes S. Kidane, because anybody would get worried at this point by the things that are being found without the owner himself being found with them and nobody seeming to know where he is. Now, per description, Kidane is just 5 feet 8 and weighs 150 pounds. And on the day he went missing, he was dressed in a black hoodie, gray sweatpants, and black shoes. And guess what? He has just started his work on the 7th of August this year with Netflix. And if you know anything about Netflix, you know Netflix is the ish. So for a 22-year-old fresh out of school software engineer to land a job with Netflix, I think it's a dream job to an extent. Or I don't know his personal goals, but I think it's an envious job. So this guy was excited or should have been excited, and I don't understand what has happened to him. Now, further reports also indicated that he actually told some friends of his that he was going to meet somebody. He didn't tell them who this somebody was, and it is yet to be established who this somebody was. He spoke to this person over FaceTime, and that he had another friend that he was going to visit. So they don't also think that it's a case of he having harmed himself or anything in that direction. But again, this case hasn't really given anything to point in any direction except for the fact that it's established from the information and the findings out there that Johannes Kidane is nowhere to be found. Aside that, the police themselves are yet to establish if there's foul play, if there's self-harm, or there's something else. The case is a very wide open case with developments gradually coming in. Friends would give testimonies about Johannes as a very motivated guy, very honest guy, very kind-hearted guy, and all the good words. But I think that the most important thing is finding this guy right now, because he could be anywhere. And in as much as I don't want to say it, anything could have happened to him, or he could be going through anything. And my heart goes out to the family going through this. And I pray that, like I said, he will be found, and he'll be found in good health. He'll be found doing okay. And it ends up it was just a misunderstanding of a sort, and that nothing bad or harmful has come his way. But then, aside that, let's get down to the possible scenarios that could play out at the end of this case. Usually, when somebody goes missing, it could be one of several reasons or a combination of several reasons. The first is that maybe they don't want to be found. Maybe they are just trying to escape their lives. There is no record yet or no history known to us that Yohanes Kidane had any domestic issues he would want to run away from, or had any personal issues he would want to run away from, such that he would want to fake his death, or he would want to fake his disappearance. We don't know anything about that, but that could be a possibility, which is yet to be established. Now, the second possibility brings to mind the case I was talking about just some few weeks ago. I think this was in July 13th of this year, the case of Carly Russell, who went missing under somewhat similar circumstances as these. And there was a manhunt to find her, only for her to turn up 2 days later. And it turns out that she lied. She actually confessed that she lied being kidnapped after she had actually told the police that she was kidnapped by a man and a woman. If you are not familiar with that case, I did that story just before this video, so you can just go to my playlist, it's there. And you would see how some people can take the whole world through a wild goose chase of emotions and searches just so it feeds a certain edge that they have, which I still don't understand. So that is a possibility. In the case of Carly Russell, she left her car, she left her phone, she left her wig, she left other stuff. In this case, we see Yohanes Kidane's wallet, we see his phone, later his backpack is found. I'm not judging him. I'm not calling the facts of the case as in that he is faking something. No, I'm just trying to analyze the possibilities. Then there's the third option or the third possibility, which could be that, God forbid, though, something bad could have happened to Johannes Kidane. He could have been kidnapped, he could have been taken, or even worse, and his things were left behind. Although I don't think that is likely because if he is to be kidnapped, it would be smart on the part of the kidnapper to either destroy the things that were left at the scene, i.e., his phone, his wallet, later his backpack, or some way, somehow disconnect them and take them with him or destroy them, but not to leave them where they can easily be found. I'm not a kidnapper actually, so I wouldn't know, but I think at least they would go through some process to try and destroy it or hide them somewhere before they leave, just to throw the police off their tracks. But hey, again, like I said, I'm no kidnapper. And then the fourth possibility, he could have taken his life, although I wish and I pray it's not that. But there's that possibility as well. Or it could be something else I can't think of. You can let me know in the comment section if there's anything that you think could be a possibility here. But I think that it's important, and I believe the police are also appreciating what I'm saying, and they are treating this as a case that could take them in any direction because they don't really have anything that points in one specific direction. And I think it's important that all options should be on the table or all possibilities should be on the table because in such cases, you just don't know. You just cannot tell. Look at how the case of Carly Russell started. The whole world was called upon by her family to help find their daughter. People who had lost relatives to kidnapping felt the empathy and the pain that the family were going through, and they joined in the search, only for Carly Russell to show up 2 days later, lied to the police that she was kidnapped, and later, when investigations revealed she was lying, came to confess through her lawyer that she was lying. You know, bringing in 911, her boyfriend, her family, her mom, her dad, and all. You just watch the story and you begin to appreciate some of these possible analysis that I'm putting out. You know, I think that such cases like that of Carly Russell just throws dust in the face of cases like this, where now police have to consider our possibilities. And I'm sure they are considering some of the ones I'm mentioning here because they are not far-fetched possibilities anymore. People have done them as early as 2023 or as late as 2023 July. Someone has just done it. And even after Carly Russell's case, it motivated an 11-year-old girl to do same. So there's a trend. But I also think that there's a possibility it's something totally different, maybe even totally different from all the possible analysis that I've put out there, where Johannes could be dealing with something else that we are yet to think of. Let me know in the comment section if you have any other thing in mind, or if you think there could be something else, or if you've come by further information that I didn't touch on in my delivery. But I feel the pain of the family. It's not easy, honestly. It's not easy as a parent to lose a child, especially when you don't even know where the child is or what has happened to the child. That void of not knowing eats at you from the inside, and it's something that cannot heal until you find closure by knowing what has happened to your kid. And I just can't fully describe what I think his mom, especially, and his dad and other siblings and friends and family are going through. These things are not easy, and my heart goes out to them. I pray that they get the strength and the support they need to help find Johannes and go through this difficult situation. But I also pray that Johannes is found in good health and it turns out everything was just a misunderstanding and that it doesn't turn out he's found in any of the undesirable outcomes, i.e., something has been done to him, i.e., he has faked the whole thing, or i.e., he has done something to himself. I pray he's not found in any of these brackets. And if you are watching this footage, please, let's do our best to look out for each other. Sometimes people are dealing with so much. And, you know, I was watching a documentary on suicides recently, and I got to appreciate that sometimes just giving somebody a hug, being nice to somebody can make the difference between the person deciding to go over a cliff and the person deciding to give life another chance. Let's be nice to people. Let's keep an eye out at people. Kudos to his sister for tracking his phone. But then again, I've seen worse things happen from cases that started like people were victims. So, not to be inconsiderate, but usually I would want to sit on the fence until the facts are out because Carly Russell has taught us a lot. So, I'm sitting on the fence, although I'm praying he's found and everything is okay. But I'm praying that this doesn't end up in any of those three unwanted brackets I've touched on, and that it's something about a misunderstanding and he's fine, and everybody goes home happy. Until then, please, let's educate ourselves. If you are going somewhere, let people know where you are going to. We don't know who this friend of his that he said he was going to visit is. If that information was out, it could have pointed the police in the right direction. It could end up being a dead end. But then again, it could have also ended up being a lead that could have panned out to be fruitful. We don't know. So, wherever you are, don't think these things are far fetched from you or your family members. Let's educate our family members, our children, our relatives, our cousins. If you are going somewhere, let somebody know. If you're in a ride share the number plates and the details with family members so that they know where your last point of location was. And please, whatever you are going through, if you are watching my video, know that tomorrow is definitely going to be another day at a chance at life. And here in Ghana, there's a saying that if you are not dead, you still have a chance. So please, keep a smile, stay safe out there, keep an eye out. Until I come your way next time, be good. Catch you next time.